So yesterday we started understanding the contextualization and what is the importance and what are all the have and we understand the process of our code movement from one environment to other environment. Those details we understand theoretically and how we are going to use that contextualization in Talend. Today we are going to see. Okay, so let's going to create a job. I'm going to create a new job. Created a job variable. If you see here, right? So when you see that when you are opening job or by default, if you see that below of the job creation, you can see the job context component and run job, right? So this is where a context where we are going to is, right? So you can find that in a your bottom of like a job, you can find the tab. If you don't have the tab, you can go to that window show view. You can find the context. You can find a context here, just select and open it. So by mistake it is not opened or it is closed for you. Just even anything, if you miss something in your tabs, you are not able to see, just to go to the window show view. This is called a window, right? So whatever tab is missing, whatever you are not able to see, you can find in the show view. Okay, you can just type context here. Text. So this is how you are going to get it. Okay, so now I'm going to create a variable. For example, just I'm taking a name. So just I'm taking one variable called name. So name how to use this variable. This is a just a it is nothing but a variable. So how to call this variable? First we are going to see that how to call this variable. So we created context. Under context we created a name as a variable. So name is a variable. So how we are going to call this? So here you can see, right, type of the variable. So what is the type of variable? String. So string is a data type of a variable called name. So name is a variable which is going to store the data of kind of combination of characters and numerics. So string is a data type which is going to store the data combination of anything, like it's going to be a characters or a numeric or any special characters. So variable name called name. So name is a, here you can see nothing but a variable. So that name is called name. So we have taken as a variable name as a name and type is a string. And you want to write any comments. So you want to say to store. So you can mention any comments. You just want to keep that. So you can have the comment and you want to pass the value. Here I want to pass the value of the variable. So variable name, and I want to store that variable name value as Sai. So example, I am storing value as Sai. So whenever I am going to call this variable, what is the value I am going to get? Sai, because we have stored a value into name as a Sai is a name which is going to be stored in a variable under Sai. So now I'm going to call that. So we are going to use how to call that. We'll see. So just I'm taking the T Java component, so which we can just print our whatever we want to print. We are using system.out.println, right? So I'm going to use the system.out.println to print that variable. So what we have to do, we just use that system dot out dot I want to call that variable. So you want to call, so some person is there, how you are going to call him using name, right? Same way, one variable is created, you have to call that variable. So you have to call that variable, then you will get the value of that variable. So how to call that is here you can see that context, right? So context is a prefix of calling that variable. So variable name you can call later, then you will get list of variables whatever you are added in your context group. So here it is going to be context dot name. This is the syntax. You can without if you are not like able to type even context also, you just put the variable name and you can put the context, then automatically it is going to be a little it'll, if you have more variables then it is going to be issue. If you have less variables you can easily find here. You have to like this, you have to check where is that variable. So just click on that, then automatically you will get that. You can type like this and you can find that variable. Okay, so now I'm trying to print that value of that name variable. So name variable have a value as Sai. I just want to read that value and I want to print on the console. So this is called a console, right? So whatever data you want to see on the screen, you can just put the system.out.println that will print the data.
You missed the M, sir. System.
Yeah, here. Now what will happen? The variable value is going to change to, so automatically whenever you change the value, then automatically get reflected in what in your code. Variable means we told, right? We are going to vary the value depends on the our need. We can use that. Same way, I'm going to create one more variable. So one more variable which is somewhere else. So we want to know which environment we are. Okay. So how do I so if your job is running in dev, so how you are going to specify? So if you are going to run, then I want to get the environment. So for that purpose what we have to do, we can see here, right? You can create a number of like a environments. So we have a four environments in general. So dev, sit, uat. Same way I am going to have here context also four environments. So I'm just going to give, I want to get each and every environment different value, right? It's not going to be the same for all the environments. System testing. Okay, so production. So this, so generally you will not see this kind of system testing user accept. It is going to be SIT, it is going to be UAT, and this is going to be prod, and this is going to be dev. Like that they will name it. Okay, thing you are not going to see in your real time. They'll just put dev SIT UAT prod. Okay. So for understanding purpose, I am writing system testing, user acceptance, and production complete full form. So now I have created a four environments. So four environments, right? So I want to print the name. So default, this is the name. So I'm just want to this one as a Sai. When dev is running, like where is it? Dev is running. I want to okay, and I want to run in a SIT. Then I want to print Naidu. And if I'm going to run user acceptance, I will put it's a business. So if it is a production, then again so this is a code just different. The value is we are just changing. So you are just changing the value based on the environment. So if it is a dev environment, so I want to print a development like a Sai. If it is I'm going to run in user like SIT, then I want to print Naidu. If I'm going to run this job in a UAT, then I want to print Tony. If I'm going to run in a prod, I want to print Sunny. Same way, I'm just to make sure we are running from specific environment. I have created one more variable called dev. This is the dev and this is SIT. I'm not giving double quotes because it's already string, right? So you no need to give the double quotes here. If you give double quotes also fine. That is not going to give any difference. And this one is production. Okay, so now I want to run this job for SIT. So what is our expectation to get from the here you can see right whatever you have environments you are going to see the list of environments. Whenever you want to run specific environment you have to select that environment. So environment means the whatever we have created the context, right? So you can just select the system testing. For example, SIT I want to the same job I want to test in different server, different environment is called SIT. So system integration testing. So what is the value I want to print? I want to print the name and I want to print the same for we have another variable called environment. So I just want to print the same. So to make sure we are running in SIT. So I'm going to call that environment variable. So you can find here, right? So you can just click. Now I'm going to run this. I'm selecting where you have to select. You can see the run tab beside. You can see the right corner. You can find that selection of environment. This is called environment selection. You can select the same job you are trying to run in a different environments. So code is the same, but the values are we are changing. So the variables we created and the values are we have provided different for dev environment, SIT environment, UAT environment, production. So like this way, you can see that if you have a database, right, the database credentials or host or server details, everything is going to change different environments. So you have to pass if you are running the job in dev, then you have to pass the dev related server details and all. If you are running in a production, then you have to pass the production related server details and all. To manage that, what we have to create, we are creating a context variables and related environment groups. So this is going to maintain the each environment related specific credentials or specific details. So generic names or generic things you won't change, but the values mostly what is going to change, the source system and target system, they'll have a different servers, right? There is a different server name, and if it is a SIT, like a SIT is going to have a different server, and UAT they're going to have a different server, and finally production is going to have a different server. So we have to keep maintain. So the same code we have to run in a different environments and different as a SC, right, system engineering, you have to go to the process, you have to complete your development, you have to do your all your testing or whatever you are doing. After that you have to move it to the code, you have to into the SIT environment. So SIT environment where job is going to run, and testers are going to validate whatever you have loaded through your job, and how it is running and what is the functionality you have implemented, everything they are going to validate. And again, once the SIT is completed and SIT is provided, they have confirmed your data, your process is working fine and all, then it will go to the UAT. So UAT, same UAT environment. So UAT also, the business are going to test the data and validate, and if it is everything looks good, then they'll move it to, they'll give us a give us a kind of a green signal to move your code into the production. That is a like a kind of hierarchy of processing your code from lower layer to upper, like a final destination is production, right? So production in the sense which is going to be live, and which where customers are going to start use, and dev UAT, these things no customer cannot have inputs, or cannot going to enter into your site or enter into your application, they won't do anything, right? So final is what is the final destination is a production. So production is a customers use, end users are going to start using the application, and whatever data they have entered, we are going to get into our tables, and whatever we are doing transformations and all, they are going to again see on the their screen, it is going to be a production. Okay, so now I am selected what is the environment I selected? I selected SIT. So the expectation is we have to print a name is Naidu, and environment is SIT. Seeing, right? So it is printed Naidu and SIT. So where it is under SIT group. So SIT related, you have created a context, and now I want to run this job for production. Same code I want to run, and I want to get the values of production related. So I'm just selecting production, and I'm going to run this job. Just I am going to get the value of Sunny, and value is prod, like environment is prod. So now you want to just display before what is this codes, you can this is the that is the you are going to call it as context dot variable name, context dot label name, context dot variable name. So you are just going to call, you can just control space, you will get the list of variables whatever you created in your job. So I'm going to run again, I'm going to run this for UAT. What is the UAT values we have? So what is our expectation when you run the job? We have to get the UAT. So UAT is Tony and environment is Tony. We want to get the values of UAT. Of variables, we are going to have a number of variables which are going to be used for file path, or the file path is going to change, right? If you are going to the environment to environment, the server is changed means the host name will change automatically, the path of the file where they are going to place. So here we are seeing, right, we have created inbound, outbound. So like that we are going to keep maintaining the file system specific folder, they are going to place the file, and we have to read from that folder. So this is going to change each and every this structure. So this model is whatever is see users computer documents you are seeing, this is for this dev environment. Example, we are going to have a production or something, then we'll have a production dev, like that we'll keep the folders in a each and every server. So the path is going to little change, right? It is a sit, then they'll add a sit folder or something. If it is a uat, then they'll have a uat folder or something. The path is going to change every time, so we have to maintain like this variables. And we are going to, whenever you are going to run a specific environment, you have to select that environment where you are running your job related that environment. You have to select and you have to run your job. And that means automatically it will go to the data, load everything into the specific environment. For example, sit is asked to reload something, they have placed a new file, they ask you to say run the job again, then you have to select the file and where it is located in sit. So sit environment related whatever file they have provided, you have to load. And again sit related whatever table they have maintaining in that server, the same you have to process. Then you have to select the specific environment. Like that you have to create a groups, and you can maintain a number of variables. It is going to be a like anything, it's a file path, or it's going to be a general table names, or it's going to be a credentials of any source system or a target system, like a db, right? We are entering local host, port number, username, password. So that is again going to change a how many environments they are maintaining, that many servers usually they'll have. So they'll keep that environments live, so you can test in different layers and you can find any bugs, any issues. If you are not able to find in dev environment, they may find in sit. If they are not able to find in sit, then they'll go to the uat. So uat also nothing they found and any issue on your process of etl, then they'll move it to production. So for why these environments are creating, to find any issues or bugs in your process and fix it quickly. Because we, if you don't have these many environments and these many people are not going to monitor whatever you have done or validate whatever you have done, then it is going to be a problem, right? Once we went to the production, so if something is not working or something is not expected working, so then how it is going to be a big issue, right? For example, simple bank one, huge, right, huge service in a market now. So you are paying through different channels, so google pay, phone pay, or paytm, like whatnot. You are using a number of apps to deduct your amount from your account. So if my logic, for example, subtracting whatever transaction you did, for example you paid for 10 rupees something, if I'm not going to subtract immediately from your account, for your account has 1000 rupees and you have spent 10 rupees on from 1000 rupees, then I have to immediately, I have to subtract the 10 rupees from your 1000 rupees. If I'm not going to do that, how many people are using how much like a financial crisis or issue is going to run by the banks and all. So the subtraction is wrong in the yesterday's example, right? So you have hard coded, and if you don't have a x is a value is going to pass automatically x into 2. You have not used that syntax x into 2, just they given development environment just 10 into 2, always you are doing all the environments 10 into 2. Then if you have spent 30 rupees also, again it is going to be 10 into 2 only, like that. If the issue is like hard coded something, then the persistent of the application is going to collapse and the entire data is going to be corrupted. So the bank system example I'm telling, same way if you book some order food or something, so you are not properly deduct the amount from the customer, so whatever he is paying, it is not deducted. And then what is the impact? The business who is running, he is going to lose the amount. So that is where we have to keep these many environments and we have to validate every environment. So dev uat sit, there is no impact. If something goes wrong also, there is no impact to the directly to the customers. It's going to impact to the, like whatever effort we are putting and all, that is going to be lost. But if they happen in production, so many people are going to get loss from that our process. So something is, even the business is going to collapse within a day, right? Millions of people are using the apps and banks every 15 minutes or so. Some people are going to do some transactions, anything. So if the process is not working as expected, for example, simple subtraction is not working, then we are going to lose, and entire system is going to be corrupted, and a loss of business. So the business will go immediately within seconds, loss. So that is where they are going to try to make sure whatever software you are implementing, they want to go across different environments and make sure the logics are as expected and it is impacted to the system uh, immediately. So it's not going to take a huge time or a huge thing. And this is not real time, but still is a batch process. And for example, today I have done 10 transactions. So every transaction I have used 200 rupees or something. So 10 into 2, 2000. So I have my account has a 10,000 rupees. So 2,000 rupees at the end of my day I have to see minus from my amount. So 8,000 amount I have to see in at the end of the day. Otherwise, it's not working our application. The subtraction is not working or something. Then I'm going to see 10,000 only in the at the end of the day also. Then it is going to be a loss per bank, right? I am not going to lose anything, but still it is going to be loss for business. So they're asking you to develop a software to do this kind of calculations and all. So you are doing through your some whatever technology, say tool or whatever programming or whatever. So we have to make sure the logic is as working expected or not. For that purpose only they'll keep different environments. Not only these four, they'll keep depends on the criticality of business. They'll add and more like two more environments to get more comfortable on the whatever process we are doing. Okay, so now we are good, like how to create a variable and how to call a variable and how to run for different situations or environments. So how to create a environment. And now the point is you have to understand here, right? Whatever variables, whatever things I have created within the job. So if I go and create a new job, do I get these all variables into the other job also?
No.
Why? Good.
So these we are created under a single job, right? Under the context.
Yes. So the word is right word is if you are creating a job level, it is called as a built-in. So built-in means
Mm.
it is a job level. You can able to edit and you can able to add, you can able to multiply, or you are able to subtract the variables, whatever you can do that. But when you want to make this as a like a read mode, or you can some other people wants to use the same variables or same values, because environment, for example, name, environment, these things. For example, we can take between these two variables, we are going to use the environment variable and all the jobs example. So why do I have to create a other variable in other job? I have to use the same variable. So I can use the same variable, right? That these values are not going to change. Nobody is going to have their own names or something. For example, name, there that Sai is using for some his process, something he's created a name variable, and he's trying something testing, he's using given the Sai in a dev environment, like that. Now I do for acceptance, like that thing he's doing. But this variable, I don't care, I don't want to use this variable, but still I want to use this variable. So anyway, I want to see what variables are other developers also creating, so that I can use which is going to be useful for my development also. So how to make this one, right? You can you can create, you can make it a repository level. So a repository level, you can see that context here. So built in is a specific to job level, you can able to edit. And but when you go and create in a repository level, it is going to be in general, it is going to be a read mode. So you want to edit, you can edit. So just you can create your context group here. So two ways. So whatever is created in this job, right? So I want to keep this all variables, I want to push this to a repository level. So how you can do that, right? You can select the two variables and you can find here option. So earlier it was a built in. Okay, so that is why it is disabled. Now I want to make this already in built-in mode, so that option is disabled. So now these two variables I want to add it to the metadata repository, so that everyone can able to see, and everyone whoever wants to use that variable, they can use it. So I am just going to click on the add to repository context. So the contexts are whatever variables you created, context variables, we are trying to add to the repository. So just click on repository, and you don't have any group here. So you have any existing group, you want to add these two variables, you can add it. You don't have any group or something, you can select here, create a new group for this. So I am just going to create a new context group. Like a group means set of variables under group name. So people who are working specific project, we are going to call them, they are under working this project. And if the set of people working on same project, we'll call a group, right? So different groups means different kind of usage of the variables, so that you can keep under separate group names. For example, if you are using a db related, then you can create a db context group. If you are using a file system, so you can create a file system related group. And if you are using a general, this is a general, so everybody can use this kind of variables. So environment or name, these are all not specific to any job. This is going to be a general, so general context. So I'm just creating a general context, so that anybody whatever they want to add is a common variables and all, they can create a general context, so they can use it. So naming depends on project, or who are all going to give you the naming convention and all. So they are going to define how to create the group name, how to follow the syntax, like a syntax of like a label, like it is a camel case or a small case or capital case. So it depends on the your who are you are coordinating, your lead or a senior developer in your project. Okay, so the namings anything, but group, why we are creating a group, to identify the variables where we can find. So that is going to be easy, right? If you don't have a group, like a bundle of variables you are just putting in a same group or something, so how can you find? It's going to be a little difficult. So that you can maintain a groups for each and every set of variables, so that you can easily, if you want some db related, then go and fetch the db related variables. If you want some file, then go and fetch the file related. If you are using general variables, then you can use for general context. So these two are, it's not a specific to any database or a file. So just I am creating a general context. So now I'm clicking OK. So now you can see, right, automatically it is comes under that group. General context is our group name. Under that, these two variables you are seeing. Now you can go and see here, you will find that group is generated automatically here. Now, and one more notice, you can notice whenever you create a repository, you cannot able to edit. So you want to edit, you have to double click on it. Otherwise you can directly, you cannot change the value. So just you cannot, it won't allow you to type anything. I'm trying to type here, it won't allow you. You want to change this value, then you have to go to your group, and you can double click on it, and then you can modify whatever you value. So here you want to add one more environment. So you want to add one more environment, so you can add one more pre-prod. You can add one more environment, pre-production. So one more I am adding. So pre-production, what values I want to have? So I want to add a values for pre-prod. Who is using? Krishna is using prod. So before going to prod, after business is acceptance UAT, and it is going to the pre-prod. Before going to the production, again one more environment we created as a pre-prod. So Krishna is going to they'll create n number of environments, that is depends on business. So we just added, again earlier we are added at the built-in level, now we are added at repository level. So I am just clicking finish. So you can find this is going to be applicable to whatever jobs are using this group. So now you can find here, so you can see that pre-prod is added or not. Automatically it will get reflect what are all the jobs using this group. So whenever you do some changes in a repository driver, if you are already using the in your job, automatically it will get reflected. If not getting, what you have to do, you can go here and you can select that, and you can unselect and select again, then automatically it will get impacted to your job. And now I want to add here, I don't see that variables and all, right? So if I don't see in a next second job, I don't see that variables, I want to use that variables again, same one I want to use for second job. How do you get that? You can go here and you can select that. You will get the list of groups under context repository whatever you created. So you can select this and you can automatically get that all the environments, all the variables and values whatever you have in the group. So now I can go and run this job, and you can select I want to run for pre-prod this job. So I want to run this one for pre-prod. So just I am selecting, and what is the name? We are going to get Krishna, and the pre-prod is our environment. So we are going to see that one. Do I get this output? No, right? Because we are not using the printing or anything. We are not doing anything. So I'm just to go and copy here, same one. So now you can see, right? Automatically we get the pre-prod related values, whatever we have provided in context. So what is the point here? So you can create a context in a again, how we have maintained the schema. So context also you can create built-in. So usually what is the recommended one? What is the recommended option?
The repository.
Yes, always
Creating the
repository.
repository.
Yeah, yes, good. So always creating anything in a repository is a best practice, and you can see that the by Sai, and he added something, but the same I am job, so I can see from repository. I'm going to delete this one. So automatically it will reflect both the jobs. Okay, but still you see, right? Whenever you delete from the group, the environment variable is become a built-in in that particular job. So now I'm going to delete. If he is not created environment variable in a group level, then I don't get that variable, right? So I just have to. So now I'm going to run this job. I'll how do I get the environment? So I will not get it, right? So if I run, it will throw error because the environment variable is not group repository level a resolved, or it is not a field, because the environment we thought it is there in a group. So group context group it is there, but we don't have that. So if you refresh again, if you refresh from repository again, we don't see that variable. So only variable name is there. Environment deleted. He wantedly deleted, and he is using in job level. So he is able to run this, and he can able to get the output. But coming, he removed from the repository. He is using job level. So to get the, I am also using the same variable. Or you have to get one more variable. So it is going to be like a duplicate, right? So if creating one more variable, you are saying it is a env, and you are trying to the same values. It is called So like this, created one more variable env. So env, you thought it is a environment and you are going to call that variable as env here, but your problem is solved. But it is not recommended, right? Why you have to create a duplicate variable? Is the same, the environment is a value, but still Sai is using environment and you are trying to create a another variable which is called as env. So to avoid this, what is the recommended is variables are must and should we have to create under repository. So now what I am going to do, so whatever he is created, I am going to ask him to add into the repository, because every developer are going to use that same variable. So you can keep add into the repository. I'll guide him so that he can add into the repository. I'm going to select this, so add the whatever is built in his job, he is going to add into the group. So just I'm going to click on this, then it will automatically come into the environment. Now what we have to change in our job, we have to delete whatever we created. So this is a duplicate entry, or he need to make sure the variables are not, values are good, that should be always keep repository. So now I want to add that, I want to get that. Now you see, right, it is showing that something is filled. It is not placed in your job. So you can see that icon change here, it is a box and it is filled. So now you can go and select that variable, that will become a enabled. So you can see that it is added to the your job. Now again, what you have to change, even code change also, right? So every time whenever you do duplicate variables, are to change that. So just control space, you will get that exact variable what we have used in a repository. So env is the starting letters, so it is auto has that intelligence. Just a control space, it is identified that environment is a variable which is created under control. This is how you are going to add built-in our job. And some things, right? So you want, so just he has a variable and he want to just he is using some process and he want to iterate some 5 times or something. So just he created alone, this is not his job, and he want to make that as a 10 times. So he's doing that 10 job is not going to this variable. So no need to add in or any specific context. This is only used by the, you no need to worry, the job is in built in our repository. But practices wise, you can keep this also in a repository level. So somebody wants to use it, they can use it. Otherwise it will be in built in, that is fine. That's the word, the always the whatever variables you are creating, it should be in a globally. So that means a repository level. That is called, in interview they'll ask what is the difference between build like a global and local. This will become a local. So right now whatever that iterate variable created, right, that is called as a local variable. It is available for this class, like for this job only. So you can print or you can do whatever you want, you can do with that. But you want to use the same variable in your other job, you will not get it, because it's a local, it's a local to the context where job. It's not available to all other jobs. So you want to make that as available, then you have to create a globally, that is nothing but a repository. So now I'm going to run this. So now you see, right, you get it. But this is a specific to his job. He is trying to get the, he is trying to iterate something in his logic or process. He is using dynamically. He wants to, for example, he want to iterate 20 times, then he can change the value to 20 here, and automatically it will reflect into the job. For that purpose, he created this variable. So it is going to be a local only. It will not be available for any other jobs which are we have in our project. So you want to get that as a global, what you have to do, you have to add to the existing repository context group, or you can create a new group. You can say new group name something else. So he's created like this a group, so you can go and check it is required for you. So now it is created one more group, you can see here. So you want to use that, then what you have to do, you can call that, you can just add to your job, and you can call, you can use that variable, you can call that variable, and you can use whatever you want to do with that variable. Otherwise you no need to add this job, right? This is not used by your job, you no need to add. Without adding that also your job is going to work fine. So this is a just to for his process of logic, he created a one variable which is going to iterate something the value, so that is required for his job, but still he's created a global context group. This is kind of called as a globally, so it is available entire project level. When you create a built-in, that is called, you can treat it as a local variable. The variable is going to available for your job, within your job, so you can use a number of times within your job. If somebody wants to use out of your job, it's not going to be available, so you cannot get that variable itself. So you are not added here. If I just try to get that variable, just you can try that, you will not get any help. So just you type or whatever you do, right, you will not get no default proposals. So there is no proposals, there is no help, you are not going to get. If you give, so you can find that variable, no, you will not get it. Whenever you add that context group, then automatically you will get that help. So you can just add that group, then you will get that help. So now you can see, right, can you just type the I and control space, you can find that variable. This is the intelligence, this is the tool intelligence, how intelligence it is. So project level metadata you created, so whenever you add to within the job, then automatically it is able to fetch from the global context, and it is able to call that variable also. So you can call this variable. Right, this is what. And now you can see, right, there is a, when we are creating metadata, we didn't discuss or we didn't highlight. So when you are creating a connection for database, you can find that creating a context by default. So when you go and right click here, what exactly what so how to make this as a context variable. You just I'm going to create a new connection. I'm going to select, I'm going to log in. How is now Sai?
It's breaking in between, Krishna.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you can talk in call. I may not notice your messages sometimes, right? So just
Yeah.
say in
Sure.
call itself. That will help me to
Yeah.
adjust the mic or something. Okay. Now it is good, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now database, you can have database, and you can see option test the connection. So now the connection is good, so it is able to establish connection from your talent to SQL. And these things, right, I want to create a variables for this all, whatever login or password or database or additional parameters servers. So I just want to make it as a variables, so that I can change the values based on the environment. So right now it is a one server, one database I am using. So one is a local I am using. Maybe tomorrow like I am going to, after my development completed, for example, I want to connect with the Sai mission, and I can use a Sai is going to pass the, he'll open the port and he'll pass the server details and all, so that I can connect to the Sai's mission. I'll treat it as a system unit. And again I'll go to the UAT, and UAT you can treat here as, I don't have that many environments here, so I'm just comparing with others. So Naidu has a our SIT, so he can pass his host. He will open that server, so I can load the data into the Naidu's mission, the whatever data, whatever we are processing data. And again, Sunny for production we have given. So production, I'll use the Sunny's mission to load the data and all. And pre-prod my mission. So again, I'll use the same my mission. Like that, oh, the servers are going to be differ. So missions are going to be differ. So they'll give the host name. You just going to connect. So variable names are going to be the same. So variable names, that is what it is going to be referred as a context. The variables are going to be the same, but values you are going to see different. So these are the variables default. They are suggesting you want to still modify these variables, you can modify, or you can use the same variables. And what else we are missing here? We'll have only default. We want to have environments, right? So you have to create a environment for this one also. So DB is going to have different. DB also you are going to hear from them different environments. So you are going to have dev, SIT and UAT, and you will have prod. Like this you will have a environments. So you can have n number of environments. So now you can see n number of environments here. Now I am clicking OK. Then you will see, right, here it is overridden by that values with the variables, but the values are there. Values are where we are going to see. You can go and see in your context. It will be created a context group for DB connections. So here you can find, you want to edit anything. So for example, database here, right? So I will just make it here. So just I will make it underscore dev. I'll create this dev. And right now we don't have environments, different servers, right? I'm just making different schemas within the same server. So whenever I select a dev and I want to load the under this schema all the tables, and I want to load for prod, I just go and create this database. So underscore prod is a database, and again I want to create IT, and I'll create a UAT. Like this, I will maintain a different schemas within the server also. So based on my selection of environment, so it will automatically reflect to the specific schema and it will load the data. Default is this one. Okay, just I am going to impact. So now I can play with the database connections. If I want to run this job in a, if I want to load something into the SIT, like whatever train, like whatever we have a schema underscore SIT or whatever, you can see find here. So whenever you select that, see different environments are coming. But to avoid this kind of confusion, right, always you have to keep the environment. Now you see, right, n number of environments are created. This is not a valid way of doing this, like a development and you created a dev. So these many environments, these are all same, right? Development and dev are same. So again what we have to do, you have to rename your whatever you created for general context, right? You can just change to, you can change it to, so just select this, and you can keep edit this, and you can save dev. I'm now correcting how you are going to see in a real time. Leave it, we'll remove this, we don't need this. Production, I'm going to edit this prod, so that you will see only 4 environments instead of doing multiple. SIT. Okay, so now you can go and save. So same way for this process also, we want to see what we have environments. So this is also having a different things. So I want to make this as a dev. And this one we don't want, so just removing it. So default, always you can put default or dev is our default. So always developers are going to test in dev, right? So you can select the dev, and you want to delete the default, you can delete the default also. You can keep only 4 environments: dev, SIT, UAT, production, so that you can run your job. Whenever you want to run dev, you can select the dev. Whenever you want to run in UAT, you can select the UAT. Okay, now you can see, whenever you can see, right? So now you see, right, the it is going to display you, it will show you that dev, always you'll see that. Okay, so this is how we are going to create, and I'm going to stop here. Just practice these whatever basics, and tomorrow we'll start using the context tables to read the files, and read the even file paths also. We are going to create one more here, we'll try. You can give a try. file File paths, I'm creating one more. Related context, we want different environments. So mainly we'll have a file directory. So directory is going to change, depends on the server, and we'll have a file name. So generic names, so our file name, or you can completely, you can use as a file path like this. Whatever variables are suitable for your process, you can just create like this variable, and you can keep that, and you can see that. So you can just add the file paths, file system context to here. So automatically you will get the file system related variables also. Okay. So tomorrow we'll start using the files and path related context, and DB related context. Nothing you can able to follow. I think if you open our DB job, right? If you just select that context, automatically it will reflect the context variables, whatever we have created in a context. So you can select the DB connection, and you can call that variables wherever you are hard coded. This is if you see any DB component, you will have a hard coded values. So you will not find context variable at all, right? So here you can see where is the connection. This is called hard coding. This is whenever you run, The specific server only the job is going to run. So always it is going to run for local host and it is going to run for this job. You want to make this as a context, right? You have to call that context variables instead of these values. You are going to call that context variables, and the values are going to change, right? Depends on the environment. Automatically the values are going to change. That is what we are going to check tomorrow. Okay. So these variables you have to call wherever you see that hard coded value, right? You can call that. You can username, then you can call it as a db.login. Whenever you see database, you can call that a context.database name. So like that you are going to replace that actual hard coded values with context variables, so that you can run for any. This I cannot run for production, because it is a, for example, this I treat it as a development environment. This is hard coded, the local host and database and username password. So production, the host, the server name is going to change, and maybe database is going to be the same, but username is going to be changed. And these three values are going to be different for different environments. So if you are not maintaining context variables, it is going to be different. You have to create a three jobs. So one for four jobs, one for dev job, and one for SIT job, one for UAT job, one for production job. Like that you have to create a four jobs. Instead of creating four jobs, keeping the environment variables, context variables, you can run the same code in a different environments. That is where we are calling as project level contextualization, and where maintaining the context variables. So this is a talent feature is to make sure the jobs are running respective environment by selecting the context group. So in scheduler also, how you are seeing here, right? You will find the same way for in scheduler also. When you are running the job, you can select the dev and you can run. And when you are going to select a prod, you can run the prod. You can select the prod and you can run the job. That is how you are going to run your job. Even moving the deploying the code also easy, right? You are just keep maintaining the context variables for, but the code is same. So the code is going to deployed, one code is going to deployed all across all the environments, but the only values of the whatever credentials, whatever paths or whatever variables, those we are going to keep maintaining different environments. So the deployment of process, the deployment of code maintenance, everything will be easy. Okay, that is the that is why they are created this kind of contextualization concept. This is came from actually Java. So Java applications, they'll have a context parameter configuration files and all. That is the concept they have implemented for the ETL process also. It is not just came from tool or something. This is already exist for Java applications. If anyone heard, anyone seen that, they'll have a properties file that is called context param. You can find that XML and you can see that context param there. They can keep add any URLs or any like kind of navigation of pages. They'll keep getting into that context param, so that it will reflect to the entire project level. Same concept they have started implemented in Talend ETL process also. So they'll keep maintain different environments, and you just change the value of the variables, so that it will be easy to manage the same code different environments. Okay. So I'm going to stop here. Just practice this context. This is very important. You will get a number of questions on context variables, because this is kind of managing your code between different environments. Context is a just a simple variables creation, but it will make the easy of your life to move your code into the different environments. So that's why they'll ask how much knowledge you have that managing the code and maintaining the code, and what are the variables you will keep in a like a global, and what variables you are going to keep in a local, and how you are going to call the variables, and what is the difference between global and local variable. So a number of different ways of questions will come to you. Okay. And mainly they'll ask you how you are going to